All right, guys, we'll let Coach give us a quick statement, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Hey, good morning, guys. Good to see you guys, and glad to be here today. Obviously, our first one of the year, so that's exciting as well. I'm really looking forward to getting back on the practice field today. We since our game has been pushed back to the end of the year, we've kind of taken the approach more like spring ball. Getting a lot of good meeting time and lift time in between practices, going basically every other day for this week and into next week some as well. And I think this is an opportunity for our team to continue to work on us and not worry about who we're playing or whatever, and try to get ourselves ready to go. And then I think next week, toward the end of next week, we'll start getting into Middle Tennessee game plan. Our players have responded very well. Obviously disappointed with not getting to play on September 5th, but at the same time they've really done a nice job of refocusing and understanding that this is a year unlike any other, and there possibly could be some interruptions as we go, but we just continue to try to practice the social distancing and safe guidelines and policies that we have in place, and really take one day at a time and focus on Troy. And that's kind of the approach I think our team is going right now. And our motto this year has been Trojan Tough, and that's what we're gonna kind of live by. It's what we have, up in our meeting rooms and so forth. And I think that says a lot. We need to be a tougher football team, obviously, and that's our goal. But at the same time, you got to be Trojan tough mentally as well, with all the challenges that are going on these days. So I think our team's bought into that, and we're continuing to improve on and off the field. And I'm excited about this team for sure. Okay, questions? Yeah, Mike, for sure. It's one of those things that I think's really made us make sure that all the way down our depth chart that we got guys that are capable of going in the game and executing the offense, defense, or special teams. I think this is a year that you better make sure you get reps for the younger guys and the guys that may be down the depth chart a little bit, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you've seen around the country with position groups being knocked out or whatever, and obviously we're not immune to any of that. It could obviously happen here as well, but I do think that somewhat keeps everybody on high alert, that I better make sure that I'm prepared, I know what to do. And this extra time that we've had has allowed us to probably spend more time than normal, not necessarily split up in the scout mode, with servicing each other, but getting a lot more, ones versus ones, twos versus twos, threes versus threes, and some even fours versus fours, and therefore you're kind of developing your entire team. Back in a previous life, I was a high school baseball coach, and one of the things I thought to having success was making sure that you had 6 to 8 pitchers that could go in a game and throw strikes and do different things to get people out, because if you're really going to make a run, then that pitching depth is going to be huge. I think this year I was thinking the other day, it kind of is in the same mode. We better make sure our number 4 quarterback can go in and run the offense. We better make sure that our number 4 receiver, if we have some injuries at one spot, can go in and get some snaps for us, and really every position all the way around. So, again, unlike any season that we'll probably ever experience, I hope, but at the same time, we got to be ready for any scenario for sure. Yeah, I think, defensively, I think Darryl Starling's a guy at safety that's really jumped out. I think he's a big athletic guy that we really liked from Pelham High School that over in Georgia that we thought had a lot of potential, and I think physically he's more prepared than I ever thought he could be. Josh Brown's another one that comes to mind, one of our corners from down at Lowndes County in Valdosta, Georgia. Really like the way he's approached it, and a lot of being a freshman is just the maturity of how they're able to handle the jump to college football. I think those 2 guys on defense for sure stand out. I think also if you look at on the offensive side, Derek Graham at tackle, he was actually working some with the ones the other day. We still have some good competition going on there. He's a guy that's put on some weight since we recruited him, and really excited about him. Another guy on defense, Quincy Miller, is another guy that has really, I think he's put on 30 pounds since he got here back in the summer, and looks great. Kamani Vidal, obviously we think he's really going to be a very special player here really been pleased. His maturity is unbelievable. Kind of a no-nonsense guy, just does his job with a great attitude. And then I think Kyle Toole is also a guy that has progressed. You know, he started off really fast and hit a little bit of a wall, and his kind of the last week or 10 days has really turned that around. And then Tez Johnson's another guy that I think in the slot that, you know, is a guy that I think we're really excited about. Those are the guys probably that have made the biggest impression early, but I really, really like this freshman class we brought in. I think this class, obviously, we thought was going to be really good, and so far, so good.
Coach, you had a late entry to the punter battle. How is that going so far?
I didn't see who that was. Scott, okay. Scott, yeah. You know, I'm assuming you're referring to Jack Dawson, is that right? Yes. You know what? It's still up in the air right now. I'll say this. Kyle Cole has really raised his level. He's worked extremely hard. I mean, he's a guy that when we made the decision to come back in June, he was in California, and we had some guys that, you know, maybe had issues getting back at that short notice. That dude drove from California in 2 days and got here and was ready to roll. So he's definitely a guy that's extremely committed. He's worked extremely hard. Jack Martin has as much potential as anybody from a leg strength standpoint. And, you know, last year he did the kickoffs for us, and he's kicking field goals now, but he's also worked really hard on punting, something that really wasn't something he was recruited for, but I'm really excited about him. And I think Jack Dawson brings something to the table. He's an athletic guy that's obviously played some Australian rules football, and he's an interesting guy to be around for sure. But there is an adjustment, and I think, you know, him getting here late and trying to figure out, I mean, when the ball snapped, have to catch it and only get one kick instead of running around kicking it multiple times, I think is you know, I saw him out there bouncing the ball back to him, like dribbling the ball some too. So he's used to that. So I think just his adjustment to the you know, college football is something that may take a little time. But he's got another guy that's got a big leg, and I think he's a guy that's exciting.
Coach, here's a question from Josh Boutwell. His microphone's
Okay.
working.
Okay.
How has the leadership among the returning veterans on both sides of the ball been so far in camp?
It's outstanding. I was sitting out there waiting to come in, talking to a couple of those older guys. You know, I'm just really, really excited about this team. I don't know how many games we're going to win and all that. I mean, but I love this team as far as what these older guys are bringing to the table. They seem very focused, very energized. These guys understand that we have to put the work in every day if we're going to, you know, be the team we want to be. And we get no pushback from these guys, and that's what's exciting. These guys go out and practice every day. You know, as a coach, some practices are better than others. We all understand that, but we don't have the issue anymore of guys not wanting to practice, guys not wanting to go out and put the work in that we think it takes to be a good football team. I mean, nothing comes easy in this game. You get everything you earn, and you know, we got to do a great job every day of going out and earning it. And so far, really, really pleased with our leadership and the buy-in, and these guys, you know, part of being a leader is carrying the message, you know, of the head coach and of the coaches in general, and our guys are doing a nice job with that. And you know, we hadn't played a game yet, so obviously the season, any college football season has its ups and downs. It's a grind for sure. Now we're going to play 12 straight weeks, so there's going to be some good and bad, and how we handle those times, I think, will go a long way in deciding, you know, how our season turns out.
You know, get changed along the way. Now you just kicked off the season 2 weeks later. What will these 2 extra weeks do for your team leading up to that matchup in the season?
Yeah, you know, Justin, that's a good question because you're right. Looking back, I hadn't really thought about it that way. We've been preparing for 2 different opponents. I'll never forget back in April, we were able to get on a bunch of Zoom calls as a staff and start working on our first 3 or 4 opponents, just getting an idea of some ideas we might come back to when we got – and now we're not playing any of those guys. So, but I really want to say the maturity of our team, I think, has shown through this because, you know, we're not as concerned about who we're playing right now. We're more concerned about Troy and trying to improve our team. I think that's what's been nice about, you know, having some really good leadership on this team, you know, because – you know, when the ULM situation arose, you know, we kind of, when I made that announcement to the team, those guys never flinched. And, you know, our coaches have I got to say, those guys have really done a nice job of leading each position group because, you know, how we handle things will be a lot of ways how our team handles things and keeping a positive attitude and continuing to like I said, work on Troy. And we've taken the approach now that we'll get maybe another week or two to get some guys healed up. They're a little bit banged up maybe, and hopefully be close to 100% by the time we play. So we try to use it as a positive and continue to, like I said, improve Troy.
Hey, Gunnar, just a quick question. With all this time and all this extra time off, is that a good thing as a new starting quarterback? Are you getting anxious and getting ready to get out there?
I mean, I'm a little anxious, but I mean, the good thing is we get more time to practice, more time to go over our installs and all that good stuff, and I'll get more time with the receivers, and I think the offense will get better and better as we practice more.
That was the mentality of the team. You've had 2 season openers now kind of get canceled, and now the season's pushed back 2 more weeks. Just how are you guys kind of handling all the changes that are being thrown your way?
I think everybody was a little disappointed, but I think now we're anxious and everybody's ready to go. I mean, we've been waiting for a long time, and I think we're just ready to get out there and play and get after it.
Gunnar, Dylan was saying y'all are roommates along with, I think, Jacob Free. How much does that help to really know each other like that? And what's it like sitting around the dinner table? Y'all talking football all the time, or
No, not. I mean, we talk football some, but not really. I mean, we're just talking about other stuff. We like to hunt and fish and do all that, so we talk about that stuff. But it's nice having 2 roommates play football, and we have a good time. So.
Gunnar, here's a question from on here. How do you think the competition between you and the other 3 guys at quarterback have made you better and also made them better?
I think it's made everybody better. I think since spring, I mean, it got canceled, and we were competing then. But since fall camp started, we've gotten better and better each day, I think, and we're just going to improve and build on that.
Gunnar, what's it like going up against this defense week in and week out? Obviously improves the new guys over there, and Coach Lindsey's high on them. How has that made the offense as a whole better going up against that defense?
Well, I mean, it's tough going against our defense every week because, they played really good. Honestly, our defensive backs look really good. I mean, our D line is stout. They're going to have I think they're going to have a phenomenal year. So I think it's made the offense 10 times better too because our O line's getting really good work. Our receivers are getting really good work, and I'm also getting good work as well. So.
Dylan, kind of just what's the mindset of this team? You have a game scheduled for this week to start the season, and it gets canceled. You have another one play this week, and it gets postponed. What's the mindset of the team now with this first game getting pushed back to 4 weeks?
I think it's just the main thing is, persevering through it. We knew coming into this year, back whenever the COVID-19, lockdown started and we got spring ball shut down, that this season was going to have a lot of, altercations to go with it, even if we were going to get to play. So things being out of the normal is kind of becoming the new normal. So, you really got to roll with the punches, see how things go, keep practicing. What's great is this time is awesome for us as a football team because we get to work on some of the finer details before you actually play a game. Going in, technically it'll be week 3 that we start our season. We'll be fresher than we've ever been going into week 3. And, it's a new challenge for us. After that, once we start playing, we'll have 12 straight weeks. But, it's a great challenge for us. But the team's mood is optimistic. Obviously we're ready to play. We wish we were playing this weekend. We can't help what's going on, but keeping spirits high and getting better every day is what we're focusing on right now.
Hey, Dylan, Coach Lindsey talked a lot about the defense, how much it seems to be improving. You see them every day. What's been your viewpoint on that?
They're definitely it's a different defense. They're running some new schemes. They're doing some things differently. We've got a few key playmakers back. Obviously in Terence Dunlap. Guys like Carlton Marshall and KJ Roberts. They lead the middle, and Will Chullo obviously up front on the D line. They were staple guys last year. But all around, this defense is working together better than they ever did at any point last year. As a team. A whole, not just a defense. This is it's a closer ball team. We focus more on getting to know each other rather than just playing the game, and it's obviously translating to the field. The defense is leaps and bounds ahead of where they were at this point last year. And, I see that firsthand because we play them every day. Where at times, things get routine and it can almost – it's never easy, but you can kind of see what's coming. They keep us on our toes every day. It's something different blitzes, different coverages, the way that they've changed things is awesome.
Yeah, Dylan, what's it like to be blocking for yet another new quarterback heading into the season? What's the tricks? What's the key to getting used to a new quarterback line?
Well, I think the best thing about having Gunnar back there, and whether it was Gunnar or Free, at any point, I live with both of them. So, that gives me and Gunnar that upper hand in a way. He's one of my very best friends. Definitely top two, him and Free. But the thing about it is just making sure that he feels comfortable. Making him feel comfortable to step into that leadership role. Because although he may not be a senior and he may not be an older guy, your quarterback has to call the shots sometimes. Being in the position that he is and making him feel comfortable doing that. Me and Gunnar, we watch a lot of tape together, and I tell him, certain things that can tip him off, because where I may not understand the secondary as much as he doesn't understand the box as much as I do. So when it comes down to the schematics of that, I can help Gunnar with whether it's protection or any part of the running game so he can understand, me and Gunnar mesh well. And, he's building that confidence. And, and it takes time for a quarterback, especially a younger guy, to do that, but he's coming along very well. Gunnar's going to be a great quarterback for us. He's got the leadership skill set that you need at that position. He can be a vocal leader. He can be, an energetic leader. And other times he leads by example. The thing that everybody loves about Gunnar is, Gunnar's been that guy that from day in and day out comes to work. Even in the offseason, he's a gritty guy. And, on the outside looking in, you might not get to see that, but from our perspective, that's what you want in a guy at quarterback, somebody who's going to, put their neck on the line for you. And, I think, yes, I'm saying that, but I think the whole team would stand behind me and agree when I say that, and he's got all of our support.
Last year, having to sit out, I wonder how much more maybe appreciate getting back out on the field now.
Yes, sir. I definitely take it more serious now that I'm back on the field, because sitting out last year, just watching my guys, just couldn't compete with them and everything, it hurt me.
Terence, you've been on the defensive side of the ball now.
Ma'am?
Terence, you've been on the defensive side of the ball now for a couple of years. How have you kind of adjusted for your time as running back in high school to now playing run defense?
See, now the biggest difference was playing between running back and cornerback was I just had to adjust my mindset. It was all the same. You both had to be physical at both positions and all. So the biggest contribute was I was already just a competitor, so I just worked it on my technique every day, just transferring from running back to cornerback. I just worked on my technique every day, and it just decided to come along.
Going up against some of the top receivers in the conference every day, can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yes, Reggie Todd is one that popped in my head first. Khalil McClain, Luke Whittemore, Marcus Rogers. Those guys are going to be very big in the Sun Belt this year. And just us going against each other every day, I feel we push each other to make each other better. Because they give me all at practice and I give them my all. And we all leave practice every day knowing that we got 1% better.